The first non-timber formwork for concrete construction we are going to introduce is aluminum formwork. We will first begin with talking about the materials of the aluminum formwork. Aluminum alloys are used since they are resistant to wet concrete and corrosion. Copper, magnesium, and zinc are some of the typical alloying elements. Simple pin and rest arrangement system is used to assemble the panels. The photo shown below is a simple illustration of the pin and rest system. One of the advantages of the aluminum formwork is that it can save labor costs. Aluminum is light, so workers can handle it simply with a small hammer and scissor lift. It is reported that a skilled worker can handle up to 30 square meters per day. Also, aluminum formwork, which has low carbon emission, has great impact to the environment. As aluminum is non-corrosive, it has high durability. It is estimated that it can perform up to 250 times of repetitions up to the proper maintenance of the material. Now we will talk about the disadvantages of the aluminum formwork. The most obvious one is the high initial cost, which also hinders the popularity of using aluminum formwork in the Hong Kong construction industry. The price of one unit of aluminum is 2.5 times of wood and 1.67 times of steel. The second disadvantage is the low flexibility and increased material costs. The aluminum formwork cannot be corrected after the hardening of materials because all the members are cast in RCC, so it leads to less flexibility when some of the materials are found missing. Moreover, aluminum rolls and sheets are valuable, so there is a fear of stealing, which increases the material cost. This is the comparison chart between aluminum formwork and conventional formwork. We will take the Ford cycle as an example. After the Ford cycle is completed, 80% of the panels can be recycled. Park Avenue, located in Tai Kok Tsui, is one of the examples using the aluminum formwork.
Thank you very much, and I will continue the presentation by sharing some special features of the steel formwork. The first thing I will talk about is the usual structure of steel formwork, and the first one being the column structure. It is commonly used in constructing tall structures such as multi-story buildings and highways. One of the main advantages of it is that it has been highly modularized and modified, which means that not only can it be easily grouped and erected on site, it can be easily made according to different types of concrete requirement. Moreover, it has a very high reusability. It can further reduce the labor cost and the time cost. The second structure is the panel structure. It's a combination of high tension steel, plastic, fiberglass, and different types of aluminum. The main advantage of it is it's very lightweight to work with. That means that it can be easily dismantled on site. There are two types of panels, the horizontal one and the shutter one, and both of them require extra support such as scaffolders to make a way for the workers on the formwork to work with. The third one is the tunnel form structure. It's an advanced type of steel formwork, and it is commonly used in building massive construction projects such as hospitals and prisons. One of the major advantages of it is that it can provide a relatively big working surface area for the workers, and the overall erecting process for the formwork can be shortened within one day. Moving on, I will talk about the usage of the steel formwork. One of the main usage of the steel formwork is that it can provide a modular temporary structure that provides the supporting ground for the pouring process of the concrete. So in a shorter way is that it can provide a molding box for the concrete. And from the picture below, we can see that the steel formwork inside the pillars has provided a supporting ground for the molding process for the concrete to erect the pillars. This slide has nothing very special, but to showcase the extra scaffolders needed in a steel formwork. In the picture below, we can see that there are extra scaffolders around the formwork to provide a working platform for the workers on it.
So let's compare about the traditional timber formwork with steel formwork. Using steel formwork is actually more environmental friendly than its timber counterpart. For example, the steel formwork consumes less energy and generates less waste. But it also has a higher reusability, and the steel can be made by recycled metal more efficiently than using recycled timber. Timber formworks can usually be reused for a maximum of 15 times. However, a steel formwork can be used more than 100 times. For the cost and labor force required, we can see that the overall cost for using timber formwork is actually twice that of using steel formwork. One of the factors causing that is the more intensive labor costs required to erect and stick the bamboo together by hand lifting and tightening timber together by hands. As tower crane is usually deployed inside to lift steel bar for the formwork, less manpower is required for transporting steel bars up to height. Next, let's compare about the quality of concrete after molding. Plastering is usually required after the concrete has hardened by using timber formwork. However, steel formwork can make a higher quality of concrete and can immediately apply tiles or painting on the concrete made by steel formwork, which means the efficiency of using steel formwork is much more higher than using timber formwork. At last, I'm going to compare about time required for the formwork to be constructed and dismantled. For the overall construction and dismantling process for the formwork, the steel one consumes half the amount of time of that of using timber formwork. As I have mentioned, steel formwork can be reused and recycled and can be used for more than 100 times, which means when you are constructing a part of a construction project, the reinforcement of the steelwork is much faster than using timber formwork.
So now let's talk about plastic formwork. Plastic formwork has multiple benefits when being compared to timber formwork. Plastic is very stable and inert. Hence, for example, Nova plastic formwork is the only certain system that can be used in both fresh and salt water without any damages. Plastic is also very inert. It only allows a little amount of concrete to be adhered to the plastic surface. Unlike steel or aluminum, which require oil when cleaning, plastic can be simply rubbed clean or cleansed with water. Plastic at the same time is highly ductile, which means it can be bent into almost any shapes with a lower temperature when compared to metal. Also, it can be trimmed or cut to enhance flexibility. Plastic is also highly reusable. Averagely, it can be reused for over 100 times when being practiced compared to other materials like timber or steel or aluminum. Plastic is a very light material. The setting process of plastic formwork is twice as fast as that of timber and steel formwork, and 3 times as fast for the stripping process. So we can see using plastic as a formwork material is highly efficient. Plastic formwork is also eco-friendly because the material can be made from plastic waste. Plastic formwork's major disadvantage is that plastic is sometimes unstable under heat due to its chemical bonding structure, which hence may result in softening and melting. Here is the overall comparison of plastic formwork to other formworks. Plastic formwork's major design characteristic is that it seldom uses nailings. Like plastiform, it does not require nailings. It uses a specially made plastic connector which is snapped into two plastic panels. And for example, Nova formwork, the panels are interconnected orthogonally and forming a star-shaped formwork of different sizes. Muladi is an award-winning plastic formwork invented by Henny Bott. It is low cost and requires less manpower. On site, the plastic panels or wall molds are set in form of the whole house. Then it is interlocked with multiple plastic panels together. It is then reinforced with short steel beams and filled with an aerated form of mortar. Then the wall molds are removed and re-erected for checking. Currently, plastic formwork is not popular because it is relatively new. The current Hong Kong public housing market is extremely unbalanced, with the demand much higher than the supply. In Hong Kong, the construction of public housings mainly uses prefabricated building components. Traditionally speaking, usage of other kinds of formwork lengthen and complicate the prefabrication process. If plastic formwork is used to construct public housings, it can speed up the progress by saving time and lower the price of public housings by requiring less manpower and less necessary materials.